need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care, Advanced Audiology, and Santa Clarita Hearing Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Jean Dorio.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, we have a very special guest here that helps a lot of people improve their quality of life. And she is Dr. Ginny Veloz, owner of the Santa Clarita Hearing Center. Good morning.
Good
May
morning.
I call you Ginny?
Of course.
Oh, that's much better. Hi, Ginny.
Hello.
It's nice to see you again.
Yes, I see you.
I know. And I'm using one of your see-through masks.
Very good.
Which I love.
That is
good.
I love. I wish everyone had them.
Me too.
Now,
It would make it a lot
Barbara.
easier.
It would, especially for hearing impaired people.
Yes.
Who read lip.
Yes.
It's
Yep,
it's
yep.
really it's a sad situation, but I love those. I really do.
Good.
So, what are we going to talk about today? Ha ha ha.
Well, I was kind of thinking after sitting in my house on 4th of July and hearing constant fireworks, how loud those fireworks are
I know.
and how they could damage our ears if we're not careful.
That's exactly right. And I mean, they were loud even inside the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
were setting off car alarms.
I know they were. They were doing the same in my community,
Yeah.
along my street.
Yes.
In fact, the three in front of my neighbor's house, all of them went off because
Oh,
kids
wow.
up the street were setting off firecrackers. I mean, the loud
Loud.
ones.
Yes. And they're
Yeah,
right
maybe.
next to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Scary for the ears. We talk about different sound levels, and we have soft sounds to loud sounds. And just to give you an idea, a motorcycle sound would come in at about 95 decibels, a loud motorcycle. A rock concert, loud bars, maybe about 105 to 110 decibels. Fireworks, 150 to 170 decibels.
Wow, so much louder.
So much louder. And we've got the kids setting them off right next to them. And it's scary. They are damaging their hearing, no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely. They are. And many times when I'm driving someplace, kids will drive up next to me in a car with the music blaring so loud. And I tried to say to them, stop, you're going to deafen yourself, which is what will happen. Because
Yeah.
they're right there at the radio, blaring loud in their car. And I'm thinking,
It actually shakes your car.
sometimes
Like
it does.
Yeah.
I have a little Beetle Volkswagen, and they're playing their music, and I'm rocking back and forth, and they think I'm the one rocking back and forth. It's actually their music reverberating off my car, making me rock back and forth.
That's right. Yeah, it's the bass element of it that really enhances that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
It hurts my ears.
I know.
Actually.
I know, it does.
So for sure, we're doing damage. That's when I want to slip my business card in their window. Say, call me. Yeah.
And if there was some way to do it, that's what you should do. But unfortunately, there is no way to do it because they'd look at you like you're nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really would.
Yeah. It takes them experience it to understand that
Yes.
how difficult hearing loss makes your life.
It really does because my husband had bad hearing. And long before he even got his hearing aids, he would say, "What'd you say? What'd you say? Huh? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Let's, let's do something about it. And he finally did. He finally went in and had his ears checked.
Good.
And he needed hearing aids. And after that, I mean, he had me keep turning down the television because he could hear so infinitely well that, well, wait a minute. Let me see if I can hear it. But he was hearing it beautifully because he
Good.
could adjust his hearing aids.
Yeah.
Which was a blessing, really.
Good.
And now Russ played the violin.
Yes.
But he didn't. It wasn't, and that when he was younger, I know. But I know that probably did not contribute a lot. But when you are using fireworks, and maybe it's just 4th of July and New Year's Eve, maybe. But, when you are exposed for a short period of time to 150 decibels, maybe you'll get away with it if you're lucky. But when you're in a car and the music you're listening to is 110 decibels and it's continual,
Yes.
you're going to end up causing some severe damage.
And it could be at the firing range too.
yeah.
People who shoot guns, it takes one time. I can't tell you
Right.
the amount of people I've had that one time a friend came up and thought it would be funny to set off a firecracker or shoot a gun next to them.
Ooh.
Permanent hearing loss, permanent ringing in the ears,
Wow.
hearing aid use. One time.
Well, when you go to the firing range, you do use earmuffs. So, not that you're protected though, because in the military also they gave out earplugs. And remember, recently about a year or two ago, they found out those earplugs were faulty.
Yes.
And many of our military suffered hearing loss because of it. So, there's always exposure, and you have to be aware of it. And, it might not cause a sudden pain or discomfort even, but down the line, it can be tremendously harmful and not only cause hearing loss, but other symptoms as well.
Absolutely. I like to, when I talk to my patients about hearing loss and they ask, what's happening? Why is this happening? If you take a beautiful green lawn and you walk across to the other side of the yard, you're trampling down some of those blades of grass. And then you turn around and walk back, and then you can see your path in the lawn. And then, more you go to bed, and in the morning the grass is sort of regenerated itself, and it's really very much the same with the hearing. So if you just walk across the lawn a couple times, no big deal, right? But if you leave a big heavy object laying on the grass, all the blades have fallen down. You remove that big heavy object, those blades of grass don't come back up.
That's right.
They've died. And you're going to have a brown spot there.
That's exactly right.
And when I think of the ears, I think of little tiny hairs, little tiny reeds like in the ocean. When the tides change, they wave back and forth. And it's like those blades of grass. And if they're not waving back and forth with different sounds, if they've been trampled, if they've been hit continuously with loud sounds, they just fall and they can't get back up eventually. That's hearing loss.
That you've really described it well, because that makes a lot of sense. It really does.
So, and a lot of times, like Dr. Dorio said, these things show up later. It doesn't show up right away. It shows up, I always ask my patients, have you been exposed to loud noise? No. Never been in the military, never been, oh yeah, but that was years and years, 50 years ago. Now is when it shows up. You've damaged some of those hairs. The other ones around it have compensated, but now they're getting tired out too, and it's starting to show itself.
That's right. That's right. And that's what happens. You start losing your hearing. And sometimes you don't realize it.
Oh, yeah.
You really don't realize it until you say, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. Repeat yourself.
usually other people around you notice it first.
Absolutely. I noticed it around with Russ.
Yeah.
He said, no, my hearing's fine. Nothing wrong with my hearing.
Well, of course, because you just turned the TV up.
Yes.
It was fine. Right. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yes, it really is. And it's you know, a lot of people refuse to admit that they have a hearing loss because they don't want to walk around with these silly things stuck in their ears.
Why?
And I've heard that from so many people.
Why?
Isn't that amazing?
Vanity.
Vanity. Well, all those people, probably 80% of them wear glasses.
That's probably true.
So,
Interesting, isn't it?
yeah, isn't it?
I mean, you've got these monsters on your face that help you see. If you take them off, everything goes blurred.
right. So you have a little tiny device in your ear. When you take it off, everything goes blurred.
That's right, exactly. Exactly. And you keep saying, huh? Huh? What did you say? I didn't hear you.
You know, I feel like as an industry, the manufacturers have started making the hearing aids so small and so invisible that I think it's almost a disservice because of I think if people could see hearing aids, they'd become much more accepted like glasses.
Exactly.
But the smaller we make them, you don't see them, nobody knows, and, you know, I don't know. I feel like if we would make it more acceptable by having them show. They're great. Are you kidding me?
That's right. That's right. They help you hear normally.
Well,
Here's the big problem going on right now, though,
yeah.
is that we are wearing masks, and the hearing aids, it's great that they're smaller, but when you remove the mask sometimes, like for instance, I removed my mask last week, and I was driving, and Robin said to me, "Oh, you still have your mask on," because we were leaving a store. And so as I was driving, I took my mask off, but the mask got caught in my glasses and broke my glasses while I was driving. But the same thing happens with hearing aids. Hearing aids are being lost now because we're taking our masks off, and the hearing aid comes flying out, and they're sometimes too small that, you know, they drop on the ground and you don't hear it until you realize, hey, I can't hear, and you might definitely lose it. So there are problems associated now with, because we are wearing masks, of losing our hearing aids. But the other thing we lose is some of the things, Jenny, with quality of life, don't we?
Absolutely.
And when you cannot hear, you lose certain parts of the quality of life that, you know, allows us to function at home and in the community. Can you go over some of those issues when you can't hear? And Barbara was saying, you know, listening to the TV was just one of those, but there are many other aspects of life that we have that you know and I know, but sometimes our listeners and caregivers don't know, that could markedly negatively affect our seniors.
Well, I mean, we've talked about the fact that when we don't hear, we struggle to hear, you know, frankly, it's just easier to stay home, you know, and there's restaurants I don't go to. It's just too loud. And I don't enjoy having to strain to try to understand the conversation, and I leave exhausted. And frankly, if I knew that's where we were going, I would say, well, I'll catch you next time. I don't really want to put myself through that. I had a patient who would get together with her girlfriends, the four of them, and they would play cards, and she was the scorekeeper. And the other ladies would call out their score. And she was having a hearing loss, and they accused her of cheating.
Oh.
Because she misheard the numbers, and she was devastated, and she didn't go back. And she missed her friends, and she missed playing cards, and that's life. That's what it's all about.
That's true. But on the other hand, she should have been able to say something to them.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what she should have done.
And the other side of the coin is they could have recognized the deficiency that she was having, pointed it out to her possibly, and rectified the problem right there. And that's why, Jenny, we're talking to you.
Yeah.
Because there are many individuals out there that are having problems with watching television, hearing the telephone ring, driving and not hearing sirens, let alone playing cards, and they end up suffering because they're not aware of that deficit. So
Right.
that's why we have to bring this forward. It's a quality of life issue. Isn't it, Jenny, isn't it that sometimes people, some of our patients and family members, they're thought to be developing dementia
Yes.
because of hearing loss?
There's been a link between dementia and hearing loss. And, if you are listening to a conversation purely to hear it and not really listen, if you're not hearing it, you can't retain it.
That's right.
And
That's
that's
exactly
where
right.
the brain starts to get tired and,
That's
begins
right.
to atrophy. And, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And we need to take a break, Ginny, and we'll continue this conversation after the break.
Okay.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
If you're tired of your nail polish chipping a day or two after an expensive manicure, then you'll love the gel nail polish manicure now offered by Ann. Ann is a licensed manicurist serving the Santa Clarita Valley in Canyon Country for over 15 years. And now she's offering the gel manicure that lasts without chipping for up to 2 weeks. Log on to hometownstation.com for details on how to get an amazing deal on gel nails by Ann on Restaurant Row, or call Ann at 250-8340.
Great news! Men Cryotherapy is reopening. As always, they continue to clean and sanitize all equipment. Social distancing will be enforced and hand sanitizer will be provided throughout the facility. Temperature checks will be done daily on each employee, and masks will be provided if forgotten. They have amazing welcome back specials, including the $99 performance package, which includes a cryo session, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which boosts recovery of damaged cells, the aromatherapy oxygen bar, Nucom, and infrared sauna. There's also a beauty package with a cryofacial, infrared sauna, and more. And don't forget their extensive selection of health and wellness products, including CBD. Men Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to MEND, M-E-N-D, cryotherapy.com. MEND Cryotherapy on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
Loss of hearing can affect the quality of life. Santa Clarita Hearing Center can help. They specialize in both preventative hearing loss and corrective measures, including diagnostic tests, new technology hearing aids, cochlear implants, hearing protection, and tinnitus treatment. They can adjust your current hearing aids or fit you for new ones. Santa Clarita Hearing Center also offers sleep molds, swim molds, and musician monitors. Book an appointment today. Log on to SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com. Located on McBean Parkway next to the hospital. That's SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit ComfortKeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200. Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Introducing Oakmont of Valencia, Oakmont's second luxury senior living community in Santa Clarita. At Oakmont of Valencia, you'll have access to full-time assisted living services provided by compassionate staff in the privacy of your own home. Oakmont's Diabetic Wellness Program offers assistance with monitoring and managing glucose levels, meals, exercise, and activities. Oakmont of Valencia offers a fully equipped wellness center and concierge medicine program, allowing outside physicians to visit on site. Discover the care your loved one deserves in a resort-style setting. Visit oakmontofvalencia.com.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And we're speaking with Dr. Ginny Veloz, owner of Santa Clarita Hearing Center. And before we took a break, Ginny, we were talking about the connection between hearing loss and dementia.
Yeah. And the idea is that if you're not hearing something, you aren't being able to retain it. You're not given the opportunity to retain it. And so your brain starts to slowly, kind of atrophy and break down, and you're just not able to retain.
Gene, I wonder if that's what happened with Russ.
It could be, and I think Jenny alluded to this earlier. When the information is not coming in, the neurons tend to get a little lazy and have a little rust on it and just don't function as normal. And so I've seen so many patients who are thought to have dementia, and it's just slowly progressing. And one of the things I have done now for the last 20 years is make sure they have a screening test for hearing, because that will help us at least resolve the possibility that it might be different, and it might allow the patient to escape a big neurologic workup in terms of scanning their head, seeing a neurologist, going on medicine, and only because the doctor nor the family members thought that this was a hearing problem.
Yeah.
So it's really high on my list when I see patients if there's a problem, and I'm sensing especially that they're not hearing appropriately, following commands, responding in a way that seems appropriate with answers that are off base. When I start to see that, I get very suspicious. And many times, even when I'm not suspicious, I will have them get a hearing test done. So it's important that those listening to our show, the family members and caregivers, realize and recognize that this could be an ongoing problem and could lead to, unfortunately, a diagnosis which is not really a true diagnosis. And I'm sure, Jenny, you see this all the time where people do perk up and they get better and they're able to live a better life because their hearing problem was resolved.
Absolutely. I've seen it within families. I've seen it in nursing homes, put a little volume in the ears, and boy, I've seen people perk up. I've seen children diagnosed as, mentally delayed when it's a hearing loss. Let's aid these kids. And, it's, I always wonder, and I've, been an audiologist for 20 years, about 50 years old, we go in and we have tests. Even before that, we go to the dentist twice a year. We do our eye exams each year. We do our mammograms. We do our physicals. Why isn't anybody doing a hearing test?
That's amazing.
It is.
Yeah. I don't understand why that's not a standard. And I think it's just if the primary care physicians, could hear me now, get a baseline. Just order a baseline at 50. Yeah. Everybody should have a baseline at 50. And
Absolutely.
like Barbara was saying, you as the person with hearing loss, you're the last one to know. Everybody, listen, you're not fooling anybody. They know you have trouble hearing. But if we could do a hearing test and show you,
That's right.
we don't have to get to the point where you're feeling embarrassed and you're feeling like you don't want to go out.
It's amazing. It ought to be automatic, just like you said. Just like going to the dentist twice a year, women getting mammograms on a regular basis. That should be something that everyone should do, is go get a hearing test.
Absolutely.
Even if it's every couple of years, do it.
Just to know, just for, you probably 50, okay, your hearing's fine. Bragging rights. You can use it with your spouse. I hear fine. It's not me. But we'll be able to use that in the future to compare and say, see how this graph looks today compared to 5 years ago?
Yes.
We're starting to see it, so, it would be helpful.
Yes, it really would.
I don't think it is part of the criteria for most doctors they will say, let's get a mammogram, let's get a colonoscopy, let's get a treadmill stress test, let's even have you screened for glaucoma and your vision. But when it comes to hearing, that's off to the side. And that really should be high on the list. But that's why it's important for those listening to our show, Jenny, with you right now, it's important that people think about hearing as being a problem. Think about telling the doctor and suggesting maybe it's hearing that's causing some of the problem. And
Absolutely.
if we put that up there and people listening to this show will remember that, it will come to when they're seeing their doctor or they're with their loved ones, they might point that out to their primary care physician. Hey, let's just do a screening hearing test and see what it shows. And of course, it might not be revealing, but at least once again, you have baseline. So it is important that especially doctors are aware, but I don't think it's part of their overall criteria and screening tests at all. And that's why it's important we get this word out there as a service to the community that we have people in Santa Clarita that will screen you. And Jenny, you can screen them and make sure that their hearing is intact.
And hopefully the more people that go to their primary care physicians and ask for that hearing test, the primary care physicians are going to learn for the rest of their patients, and you may really be helping somebody who doesn't know to ask for a hearing test, and the doctor says, hey, you're 65, let's do a hearing test. And we find a hearing loss, and, we could really help that person who maybe didn't even know they needed help.
Or they could ask, have you had a hearing test?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I ask my patients almost all the time, when was your last hearing test? And overall, the majority of people say in school.
In school. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
the last time they had a hearing test.
I had one about a year and a half ago.
Good.
So when should I go have another one?
It depends on the results. If your results were normal, you could wait a few years.
Yeah, my results were normal.
Then you're good. Unless you're noticing some difficulty or you're struggling or somebody says something to you about, wow, your TV is really loud. I heard it from the street, then you might want to consider going back sooner.
And the people who would say that to me are both of my kids. They would say something to me.
Good.
Because
Good for them.
They don't hold back on anything concerning me because they know that, I'm getting older.
And it shows they care because they want you to have a good quality of life.
Yes, they do. They do.
Do they have kids?
Yes, they do.
That's it, man. It's hearing those grandkids. You got to hear them.
Yep. Yes, and I also have great grandkids.
Wow.
Yes.
You got to hear what those little ones are saying.
Oh, absolutely. And one of them, in fact, they're on their way back to Norfolk, Virginia right now. But they were at the house yesterday, and one of them has to have complete jaw removal. because her jaw has moved back and her teeth protrude, and she has a hard time talking. And of course, she's very hard to understand. And her mother had the same thing, my granddaughter. She had the same problem. And now Audrey has to have it done. Once her second teeth grow in, she's going to have that operation to lower her jaw to bring it out. And just like her mother did.
It's amazing what we can do.
Oh, it is. It is absolutely amazing. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Because I can remember when Catherine had hers done. And what a difference. Unbelievable difference.
In her speaking?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And the same thing will happen with little Audrey, my great-granddaughter, when she gets that done. And she will be doing it probably within the next year.
So imagine trying to listen to little Audrey tell a story about what happened at school, or, that high-pitched little voice.
That's right.
With the difficulty pronouncing her words, and then add in a hearing loss.
That's right.
Boy. That, imagine if you weren't listening to Audrey, how she might feel about great-grandma or grandma or somebody who isn't paying attention, when it's really not paying attention. It's, I don't understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
Kids don't understand. They don't know that.
No, they don't. They don't. They haven't lived long enough to realize these things.
No. They just think that you're not paying attention to them.
You didn't listen to me, Nanny. You didn't hear what I said. I said da 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 da. And that has happened. That has happened to me before when I've been, doing something else, being in the kitchen or something, and they'll shout something to me, and I don't hear it. And I come out. There's nothing wrong with my hearing,
right?
But nevertheless, that length of that space difference makes a big difference.
Yeah, and the voice makes a big difference.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what was happening with her. But fortunately, she will be in the next year, she will be getting that taken care of, thank goodness.
Good.
And her husband, my grandson-in-law is in the Navy for life. He decided to join, and so they have all of their medical covered. So there's not really any problem there, which makes it nice. And my granddaughter is a school teacher also, which she's been having to do it through virtual. And she said it has really been a challenge. And my daughter and my other granddaughter are both, they work for hearing impaired at the schools because they're interpreters, both of them are.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it's been quite a challenge for them having to teach from home with the deaf children. And it's really been an incredible learning experience for them.
This isolation, this quarantine, stay-at-home orders, I think has affected, obviously, everybody. In our profession, I don't want to encourage people to come out if they fit a demographic of being at high risk. And I don't know if we talked about this before, but the hearing aids now can actually be adjusted remotely through a smartphone. So if you're having a problem, you could be on vacation in Europe, and you could email me and say, hey, I'm having a problem and I'm not hearing well, through your smartphone or your grandson's smartphone or whoever has a phone.
Wow.
We can connect and I can do some adjusting for you, and you don't have to leave your home. You could be on vacation anywhere in the world. So it's really cool.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so if we can do that for you and keep you home and keep you safe, all the more power. It's awesome.
That's absolutely incredible with a cell phone, with one of these.
With one of those. I can adjust your hearing aids.
Oh my goodness. I have a hard time turning mine on, let alone doing anything else with it. Oh, it's really,
and it's an easy process. It's not a difficult process.
But that is absolutely amazing. And I think it's time to take a break, isn't it? Yeah, let's take a break and we'll continue. Okay. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
All right, great practice. It's time to clean up now. Who wants to help clean up the dugout?
Choose me. Bottles and cans are worth real money.
That's right, Los Angeles County. Recycling beverage containers puts cash back in your pocket, and it's great for the environment, too. Every year, more than 24 billion CRV-eligible beverage containers are sold in California, and nearly a quarter of them end up in landfills, where they can take more than 100 years to break down. Do your part and recycle your beverage containers. Visit cleanla.com to find out more. A public service message from the city of Santa Clarita.
With many auto dealers currently closed, Reeves Complete Auto Center is open to handle service and repairs for your vehicle. With a 2-year, 24,000-mile parts and labor warranty, Dave Reeves and his team have been exceeding their customers' expectations for decades. Reeves Complete Auto Center is here for you while your dealer is closed. On Soledad and Ruther, ReevesService.com. Reeves Complete Auto Center, caring about Santa Clarita and you.
And now a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Everyone loves chicken. It's easy to cook in a variety of ways, especially on the barbecue.
Marinate it overnight in your favorite marinade. Brown it up nice on the barbecue, and then put it on the other side in direct heat. Close your lid. Take another 25-30 minutes, and they're good.
Chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkeys, steaks, even exotic game like buffalo and ostrich. For the tastiest chicken in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Great news! Men Cryotherapy is reopening. As always, they continue to clean and sanitize all equipment. Social distancing will be enforced and hand sanitizer will be provided throughout the facility. Temperature checks will be done daily on each employee, and masks will be provided if forgotten. They have amazing welcome back specials, including the $99 performance package, which includes a cryo session, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which boosts recovery of damaged cells, the aromatherapy oxygen bar, Nucom, and infrared sauna. There's also a beauty package with a cryofacial, infrared sauna, and more. And don't forget their extensive selection of health and wellness products, including CBD. Men Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to MEND, M-E-N-D, cryotherapy.com. MEND Cryotherapy on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
Loss of hearing can affect the quality of life. Santa Clarita Hearing Center can help. They specialize in both preventative hearing loss and corrective measures, including diagnostic tests, new technology hearing aids, cochlear implants, hearing protection, and tinnitus treatment. They can adjust your current hearing aids or fit you for new ones. Santa Clarita Hearing Center also offers sleep molds, swim molds, and musician monitors. Book an appointment today. Log on to SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com. Located on McBean Parkway next to the hospital. That's SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Jean Dorio with my co-host, Barbara Cochran, on your hometown station, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM, KHTS. We're talking with Dr. Ginny Veloz from Santa Clarita Hearing Center. And Jenny, we've had a great conversation, but one part of hearing loss is the physiology of it. Can you, in a few minutes here, at least tell us how, you had analogized about walking across the grass and leaving an imprint. How is it in the ear that, we're not walking across grass, but, hearing loss develop?
Inside the ear, inside the cochlea, which is that snail-shaped bone in the ear that we tend to be familiar with, there's little tiny hairs, microscopic hair cells that stand up. And as sound comes in through the ear, these tiny little hairs are in fluid. And when the sound comes in, it makes them wave. And when they move back and forth, it sends an electrical impulse to the brain, which the brain knows as sound. So when these hair cells are getting trampled from loud sound, they begin to fall. And they can rejuvenate overnight, maybe. You go to a concert and you walk out and you feel like you have cotton in your ears, and then in the morning you feel, okay, that's better. It's not a problem anymore. You've done damage because those little hairs have fallen. And they have come back up, but the down and up and down and up is going to cause permanent damage over time. And that was the analogy of the grass. One time walking across the grass and back, you're going to be okay. But if you're constantly walking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, you're going to see those blades of grass fall, and they're not going to be able to get back up.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
That makes so much sense. It really does. Wow.
So if there's a deficit and we do a screening test,
yes,
we then we sometimes will need a hearing aid. But on occasion, though, Jenny, there are patients that I know where hearing aids don't work. What do they do then?
When hearing is either so severe that hearing aids are not strong enough to bring the sound into the ear, or there's so much issue with clarity that, I hear the sound, but I don't understand words. It's sort of pointless to wear a hearing aid at that point. Then we're going to talk about a cochlear implant evaluation. And that's a device that is implanted through that snail-shaped bone that bypasses the broken system. So you're not going to try to use those broken little hairs. They don't work. We know that. They don't work. So we're going to bypass the whole thing. We're going to put some little electrodes through there, and we're going to stimulate the brain a different way. And I have seen amazing results. And I'm going to tell you now, age does not dictate whether you are a candidate or not. I have seen people over 100 that have been implanted and have continued to live their lives in a much better way.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
Now, are we doing any of those implants in Santa Clarita yet? I used to refer down to the house clinic in Los Angeles. But is that the main place where people still go, or are there other closer hospitals and clinics that will do it?
Mostly people are being done at either house or a lot more at Cedar Sinai. And then the programming of the device called mapping is done with me. I'm able to do that. Yeah. So I can do the evaluation for the cochlear implants. I can refer as necessary. We will set up an appointment. You might want to go through with it. You might not. It's your choice. Gather the information, learn as much as you can, make a good educated decision. And if you decide to do it, I just had somebody do it last week, was her surgery, and she'll be coming in a couple weeks for the initial turning on of the device and the mapping or programming of it.
Wow, that must be so exciting for that.
That is
my
great.
goodness.
It's a whole new life.
Absolutely, to go from not hearing to hearing. Good heavens.
I mean, there's work to it. You got to do your homework, but
that's true.
It's a game changer for sure.
Well, it's just like waking up in the morning, and instead of just jumping out of the bed, you lie there and you do a few exercises and stretches so that you won't fall over when you get out of bed. I've had that happen to me, and I finally learned. No, Barbara, you don't jump out.
No.
Because you fall. You
how do,
lie there and you do a few exercises and get yourself stretched. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And my kitty cat says, row, 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 row. Row, row.
I'm hungry.
Yes,
Feed me.
absolutely.
So, Jenny, how do our listeners who are just wondering, to get a screening test, how do they get where are you located and how do they get a hold of you?
I'm located on the campus of Henry Mayo Hospital. My address is 23861 McBean Parkway, and I'm in Unit D as in David, 14. And my phone number is 661-388-4135. You can give us a call and we will answer any questions you have, and we can get you set up for a hearing test and let you know how the process goes. It's very, very easy.
And that's building.
And of course,
building, isn't it? Building D.
Building D.
Mm-hmm. Number 14.
14. Mm-hmm.
23861 McBean Parkway.
Yep.
And of course, you're following protocol to protect the patients and all the patients from COVID-19. So, when they call you up, and that phone number again was 661-388-4135. You'll give them the information that they need to have in order to go through the process.
Yes, and our office is very, very safe. Very safe.
Good.
We're screening and disinfecting, and only one patient at a time in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Well, not an easy task these days for healthcare professionals, but coming on board with us today, Jenny, has given a lot of information to our older adults here in